What is going on, everybody? Arcade here with a brand new video. What went wrong? On this episode, what went wrong? We asked the question: what went wrong with Destiny's Rise of Aryan expansion? Rise of Aryan is Destiny's final expansion, the last we've seen until Destiny 2 drops. So you would think Bungie would go all out with the game's final DLC. In some ways they did, in some ways they didn't. For example, the raid is the best raid in the game. Period. Not just better than the Crota raid, not just better than Vault of Glass. It's better than Taken King as well. It's the best raid in the game, and I'm curious how they would top this raid in the next Destiny game. The raid has a great flow, it's super fun, and the layout of the raid is extremely astonishing. I really like how how every facet of the raid changes and how they all look. Is a great thing. The idea and lore behind the Iron Lords is great. Might be the most interesting lore in all of Destiny, period. But this is also where things went wrong. Bungie didn't take the advantage of that lore. The Rise of Iron story is nearly 4 inches long if you don't include the raid and strike. Yes, there's technically 2 strikes, but the second one is literally a reskin of the very first strike you play in the game way back then. Not only is there only 4 missions, none of them capitalizes on the lore of the Iron Lords. For example, we hear Saladin say there were 9 Iron Lords that went into the chamber, yet we only fought 3 inside that chamber. No, where's the other 6? Saladin also said there were hundreds of Iron Lords that took part in the mission that led to that. 9 of those that stayed behind in that chamber. We faced 3 of those as before. So where's the other hundreds of Iron Lords? So there's a lot of plot holes in the story that's unnecessary because of the short story and the lack of them capitalizing on the lore itself. Going back to what I said about reskins, there aren't any new enemies in Rise of Iron, just reskin Fallen, the very first enemy we've come across in the base game. The Plague Lands has 3 new areas, but the rest of it is just reskin areas like the Rocky Yard, the Divide, and the hangar you got your first shipping. Those are all reskinned in the Rise of Iron. What about the pre-order bonus? That's the Gallowhorn, which has been in the game since year 1. It was reskinned for a new exotic in this game. So once again, we're going to talk about all these reskins. There's a lot of reskinning going on with Rise of Iron. So what went wrong with Rise of Iron? Too much of it is just reskin content, and the new content that is there isn't long enough to keep you interested. It didn't capitalize on the lore, and the lack of that use of lore leaves holes in the plot, leaves holes in the story. It leaves you wanting more, it leaves you asking questions on, where is this, where is that, how did this happen, It's fine when games like Dark Souls does that, because Dark Souls is based on, asking you, leaving a lot of questions that's unanswered. That's what the basis of a Dark Souls game. Here's a bunch of shit, here's a bunch of lore, here's no answers to it, figure it out yourself, speculate. Destiny's not that kind of game. It's not a game based on speculation and trying to figure out what the messages are left by the publishers, not published by the developers. Destiny is a game that's supposed to have, a thought out plot line, and these holes just make the game uninteresting, and it hurts its overall value. Now, with all that said, the raid is great. The actual new strike is pretty good as well. I really like it. I think it's pretty cool how you just drop down and there's while you're fighting one boss, there's an ogre going ape shit around you. So that in itself is great, and it's different from the other strikes. To me, it could be one of the best strikes in the game. I rank it as one of my favorites in the game. Aside from that, Rise of Iron also introduced some issues with multiplayer. Skill-based matchmaking doesn't work the way it should, which in most games it don't. It should be based on light level for things like Trials of Osiris and Iron Banner, but it isn't. In terms of Trials in Iron Banner, where one team is maxed out in light, but the other team is only like 365, the maxed out team just whacks its ass because they're maxed out and the other team isn't. So you should have a matchmaking system to where 400s are going against 400s and 360s going against 360s and things of that nature. All in all, as I said in many times before, there is so much potential here for Destiny. Bungie just needs to capitalize on the lore. Capitalize on fan feedback, listen to that feedback, and just do what made them one of the most beloved developer teams in gaming. Now, you had too much time between the launch of Destiny and Rise of Iron to still have the issues that exist. You have too much time between year 1 and now to have all these reskin areas. You could have done better. You had all this time with the fan feedback. You could have did better. With all that said, though, again, Rise of Iron is still good, but there's things that people like me, people who enjoy Destiny, they play the Rise of Iron and they're going, it could have been better even if we do already enjoy it. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching.